in America's extraordinary rise. From the instant I took office, I moved rapidly to revive the U.S. economy, slashing a record number of job-killing regulations, enacting historic and record-setting tax cuts, and fighting for fair and reciprocal trade agreements.
You know, I'm reminded about something there when he was talking about wanting to make it so Americans could enjoy the prosperity. I'm reminded of the year 2000 when Texas Governor George W. Bush was running for president against Vice President Al Gore. And I was watching C-SPAN for some reason, and they were interviewing a gentleman who was the president of the National Black Small Business Owners Association. I don't remember the exact title of it, but that was what the association was. And he says, I'm a Democrat, but I'm going to vote for George W. Bush for president here in year 2000. And the guy from C-SPAN was, well, why is that? Well, I'm a Democrat, but we reached out to Al Gore, and I'm the president of this National Association of Black Small Business Owners, and Vice President Gore didn't want to meet with me. But Governor George W. Bush did want to meet with me and talk about the policies that he wanted to put into effect to make it easier for folks like me to own their own businesses, and that's why I'm voting for George W. Bush. And I'm like, wow. Is it still like that? Because President Trump was highlighting historically low unemployment last night for black folks and for even young black folks. And you see so many Democrats out there, senators and representatives sitting on their hands, not applauding. Look, I'm not the sharpest knife in the firmament. I'm not the brightest bulb in the drawer. But I did a little bit of math, you know. All right, State of the Union, cut 7, go.
Our agenda is relentlessly pro-worker, pro-family, pro-growth, and most of all, pro-American.
Exactly. And you have Democrat members of Congress out there going, not for me. Get out of here with that pro-American stuff. Unfreaking believable. Cut number 8. Go.
We are advancing with unbridled optimism and lifting our citizens of every race, color, religion, and creed very, very high. Since my election, we have created 7 million new jobs, 5 million more than government experts projected during the previous administration.
See, call me crazy, but I think that's a good thing, which is why I can never be a Democrat, you know? More people working, more people taking home a paycheck. I mean, if you don't like that idea, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And if you're a liberal out there, because I know plenty of liberals listen to the Mark Levin Show too, and you want to call in and tell us what's wrong with that, jump on in. The water's warm. 877-381-3811. And if you've been holding for quite a while, we will get to your calls right after your bottom of the hour news break on your local Mark Levin affiliate radio stations. I'm Doc Washburn out of Little Rock, filling in for the great one as the Mark Levin Show continues.
AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, is one of the fastest-growing organizations in America, now over 2 million conservative members strong, and I'm one of them. AMAC believes in and stands up for the values that we constitutional conservatives care about. More than talk, AMAC fights. A full-time presence in Washington, AMAC pushes back against reckless spending, disasters like Medicare for All, and the expanding reach of the federal government. And beyond advocacy, joining AMAC gives you access to a wealth of benefits and discounts, including special member-only rates on car insurance, travel discounts, cell phone plans, and a hell of a lot more. And if that's not enough, you'll get AMAC's bi-monthly magazine, full of insightful articles on issues that matter to most of us, we conservatives. As I said, I'm an AMAC member, and you should be too. Join today at amac.us. That's AMAC.us. Stop supporting the liberal agenda that the other 50-plus organization has been pushing for. Join AMAC instead. AMAC.us.
Mark Levin, America's passionately cerebral voice. Talk with that voice now. 877-381-3811.
All right, Doc Washburn filling in for the great one from Little Rock, Arkansas. You know, this is something fascinating. Most of the folks who know about Mark Levin listen to the radio show and also watch Life, Liberty, and Levin on Fox News Channel, 8 o'clock Eastern on Sunday night. But every once in a while you run into somebody who listens to the radio show but hasn't ever seen the Life, Liberty, and Levin on Fox News Channel. Or, as was my case, the first time I was going to fill in for Mr. Levin last summer, I was telling an elderly member of the church that I belong to in Little Rock, I am going to be filling in for Mark Levin. And so her frame of reference was Life, Liberty, and Levin on Fox News Channel. She didn't even know Mark was on the radio. She said, I love these hour-long conversations he has with these people. They're so thought-provoking and just so wonderful. And he's so reserved and so calm and just has such a wonderful demeanor. And I said, he sure does. He sure does. Now, you need to listen to him on the radio and see the other side, where he gets more animated. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, yes, you're really missing. You got to listen to him on the radio, too. So I say all that to say this. Coming up, even though Mark is off tonight, Thursday night, and Friday, he'll be back Monday on the radio. But we have a brand new Life, Liberty, and Levin coming on at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Sunday night, Fox News Channel. The guest will be Randy. Now, if you don't know who he is, he's a professor of legal theory at Georgetown, where he teaches constitutional law, contracts, and legal theory. He has argued successfully before the United States Supreme Court. I don't know exactly what they're going to be talking about Sunday night, but I wouldn't be surprised if the impeachment comes up. It's going to be fascinating, as all Life, Liberty, and Levin episodes are. And there's another thing, too. They repeat Life, Liberty, and Levin the next Saturday night. And so if you missed Mark's conversation with Walter last Sunday night, you can catch it Saturday night at Fox News Channel. And it was just amazing. Just amazing. Mark Levin's conversation with the self-described tall, dark, and handsome Dr. Walter Williams from last Saturday night. All right, so Mitt Romney has lost his ever-loving mind by voting to convict the President of the United States on one of the ridiculous articles of impeachment today. He strains our credulity, saying, well, I hope everybody will give me the benefit of the doubt that I'm not willing to give the President, and all the senators, we all of America, and we're all doing this because our conscience dictates. And he wraps himself in his religion. Well, I got this oath to God. And that's why I got to vote to convict the president, because there's no way he wanted Ukraine to look into corruption for any other reason than politics. I'm like, dude, Bill Clinton signed a treaty into law in 1999 requiring the United States president and the Ukraine president to cooperate with each other on investigating and prosecuting corruption in Ukraine. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. That's why I wish there was a quid pro quo. Because that would show that President Trump is not just interested in investigating corruption in Ukraine, but is actually willing to go to the limit of saying, hey, I'm going to follow this treaty that Bill Clinton, our old buddy, signed into law back in 1999. You got to investigate corruption in Ukraine. You know? And I take you back to what Alan Dershowitz said the other day in the well of the Senate. He said, if some Democrat gets elected president and tells the Prime Minister of Israel, hey, you're not getting the foreign aid until you stop building the settlements over there, you going to impeach him over that quid pro quo? Huh? Ridiculous. I'm telling you, ridiculous. Anyway, so we finally got to some of this wonderful State of the Union. Last night, Democrats sitting on their hands as President Trump is talking about this wonderful, wonderful successes that we've had economically, low unemployment, more people working, taking home a paycheck. And I'll say it again, I said it before. I guess what's good for America is bad for the Democrat Party. It's outrageous. 877-381-3811. Lines are jammed. Every time I change callers, one will open up for you to try to get through. Let's go with Brian in Studio City, California, listening to the great AM 870, The Answer. Brian, you're on the Levin Show with Doc Washburn filling in. What do you think?
Hi, Dick. Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Hoping that in the next Nancy Pelosi press conference that somebody asks her or reminds her that her prayers that she's been praying so hard for the president, they're actually working for the president. I mean, over the last week, he said a lot of victories with, the wonderful State of the Union last night. He was acquitted today, no witnesses, all that kind of stuff. They're actually being answered, and she should be reminded of that, and she should continue praying for Mr. President.
Absolutely. Brian, as a wise man once said, I like the cut of your jib, young man. That's fantastic. Great call, Brian. God bless you. Thank you. And let's go with Brent in L.A., also listening to the great AM 870, The Answer. Brent, you're on the Mark Levin Show. Doc Washburn filling in. What you got?
Hello, Doc Washburn.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I was thinking, in the past 24 hours, our country has witnessed a dramatic and a breathtaking contrast between the highest nobility of American character in President Trump and Rush Limbaugh and the Tuskegee Airmen and others, and the lowest ignobility of Mitt Romney, Nancy Pelosi, Adam Schiff, and their mob. And you were searching for a name. What do we call him or they? And I was going over names and thinking, what about Judas?
Wow.
They consider themselves religious people.
Wow.
And I think they've just lost the respect of all men and the admiration of all women in their life, and that's their punishment for now.
Yeah. Brent, I can't argue with a word of it, brother. Thank you very much. God bless you. Appreciate your call, man. Yeah, that's one that I left out. What a poignant moment. President Trump giving honor to the Tuskegee Airmen. I think the only one surviving, 100 years old, and some of the Democrats couldn't even applaud for that. Couldn't even applaud for this wonderful black veteran from World War II when, before the military was desegregated by President Truman, and you can't even applaud for that. My goodness. I want to go to Kathy in Somerset, New York, listening on Sirius XM. Kathy, you're on the Mark Levin Show with Doc Washburn filling in. What you got?
I think that Mitt Romney's had it, and I am disgusted with him and the rest of the turncoats. I think they've sealed their fate. I think they've ushered President Trump right into office. And I was very happy to hear President Trump mention our sad state of New York. I'm on my way to Tennessee. As soon as I get my farm sold, I can't handle the politics in this state anymore.
Kathy, and a lot of people outside of New York don't know what's going on, but this bail reform law that passed January 1st, they're arresting people for violent crimes and then immediately letting them go with no bail.
And how about our great Erie County in Buffalo, New York, which I'm not too far away from, giving illegals licenses and not even letting the ICE agents be able to check the records. And we've got a great chairman or whatever, and he is trying to sue the state. I mean,